Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hi guys, welcome into the Sports Call. I'm Cassidy Wood with you tonight. An exciting night for Bucco fans. For once, we get to talk about a Pirates win. Of course, Brian Reynolds again tying it up, tied at 3, and then Kutch coming in and scoring that go-ahead run. They enter that final frame up 1 run. We've seen this happen time and time again. Can they hold on tonight? They are able to. Obviously, they faced the Cubs last week, lost the series sweep, but tonight they're able to get back in that win column, and it's just very exciting. I am joined with Andrew Filipponi, the Pirates insider, as some might say, but Pony, what did you think about that big win tonight?
It was a fun Pirates game. There had not been a lot of those lately. So from an entertainment standpoint, I was on my couch. I am a DirecTV subscriber, so that means I'm not getting ESPN right now, which is driving me crazy. And that means no college football game tonight. So the viewing options were not as robust as usual, especially with the Florida State-Boston College game going on. So I was pretty much glued and dialed into this one. And it looked like so many Pirates games going back to the trade deadline, where you had Jared Jones, one of your better pitchers on the mound, no offense. He gets tagged a little bit. And you're looking at another game where you're inventing ways to lose, another one. And credit to Brian Reynolds, who's been one of the more underrated players in all of baseball this year, even though he did go to an All-Star game. And Andrew McCutchen, who, despite that trip to the injured list, is, I think, on track to hit 20-plus home runs this year. And after O'Neal Cruz and Brian Reynolds, in my opinion, he's been their third best hitter. And I would bring him back next year for 2025 on a 1-year contract. He does not want to retire, and it would be foolish for him to go play somewhere else. I would pencil him in as the Pirates DH for next season, because I don't think they have another guy who provides the kind of offense that he does at the price he does.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think he has 18 right now, I believe, so that 20-plus is definitely reachable. Jared Jones on the mound tonight. What did you think about his performance tonight? I mean, I thought it was pretty solid. Obviously, gave up 3 earned runs, but that, homer in the third. But all in all, I mean, it's kind of what you expect out of him. Is that right?
Well, he has had problems with the Cubs. This has been a bugaboo team for him. His ERA is up close to 4, in large part because this team has had his number. And so that happens. That's one of the things he's got to get figured out, because you play division teams, not as much as you used to, but still these games count for basically double because they're in the same division. And you're trying to obviously, in years where you're a contender, although we've had those few and far between, you're trying to make sure that you get those games that count more against the teams in the NL Central. So, yeah, I mean, this is his second start off the injured list. He has not looked to me like the guy that he was back in April, but still solid, and for once the bullpen did its job. I have not been a big Derek Shelton fan whatsoever. I don't think he should be their manager next year. However, he did something that he should have done a long time ago, and that's give the 9th inning ball to the guy that has been his most consistent pitcher in his bullpen for the last month, and that's actually been Dennis Santana, who had the lowest ERA among any Pirates relief pitcher in August and has now gone 11 appearances without giving up a run. So it shouldn't matter how much money you make or what town you're from. It should be about, can you get the job done or not? And even though this guy really does not have big pedigree, he got claimed off waivers, he's really been, for the better part of 40 days, the Pirates' best relief pitcher.
Yeah, and going up against Ty Young, I mean, that's not an easy task. He gave up 3 hits through 7 innings of work, kept the Buccos scoreless there. Just what do you make of his performance tonight and really what we've seen him do this season as well?
Well, Tyone's a guy that the Pirates traded as part of this rebuilding, whole rebuilding process under Cherington. That was one of his first moves, was to trade Tyone and to start those veterans that were a part of that old regime of teams like Josh Bell. Cherington traded those guys, and he traded Tyone to the Yankees, and he got basically nothing back in that deal. He got Roansy Contreras back as the headliner, and then he just gave Contreras away to the Angels. earlier this year. Did not designated him for assignment. He got claimed. And that was in my opinion, a boneheaded move to just give up on an arm like that. But seeing Tyone have a pretty good year, his ERA is basically the same as Jared Jones and Mitch Keller. It just reminds me that Cherington should have done a better job of replenishing the cupboard when he was trading Pirates veterans when this whole rebuilding sequence started 4 years ago. And if he had done a better job of trading those guys for better minor league prospects, the Pirates would be further along right now than looking like a team that, best case scenario, wins as many games as it did last year.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's exciting for Buccos fans to get a win tonight and to see a win against this Cubs team. For sure. We are going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little college football. Pony teased it at the start of the show, and we'll go ahead and talk about that when we come back, so stick around. All right, guys, welcome back. This is your GMC tweet of the night. The Steelers naming all four of their captains today. Obviously, this was voted on by their fellow teammates, Russell Wilson, TJ Watt, Miles Killebrew, and Cam Hayward. No shocker there with Cam, his 10th time in a row, 10th consecutive season being named a captain. For Russ, it's actually been 12 consecutive, obviously, first time with the Steelers, but those are your captains for this 2024 season. And we'll talk about the Steelers here in a minute, but I do want to touch on some college football. We have some people calling in about Penn State. First of all, Florida State is playing right now. Pony, were you able to catch that game last week, Florida State and Georgia Tech?
I was, and Florida State was the only team, I believe, that started the season ranked in the top 25 that played an unranked opponent and lost.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's about to happen again here as they started the season ranked 10th. Look, they lost Jordan Travis to the NFL, to the Jets, and a lot of big guys at wide receiver. Keon Coleman, too, who's now with the Buffalo Bills. But this is a calamitous start for them to go 0-2 a year after they were so upset about getting left out of the college football playoff because of that quarterback injury. They have looked terrible, and it's really been a brutal start to the season for the ACC. Clemson scored 3 points. NC State needed to hold on against Western Carolina. Virginia Tech went to Vanderbilt and lost to a 2-win team. North Carolina needed to survive a field goal attempt by Minnesota at the end of the game, and they lost their starting quarterback in the process of that game. So it's really been a tough stretch for the ACC to start the season. Hey, look, they're going to send one team to the playoff, but early returns here, it looks like it's going to be a one-bid league for the 12-team playoff. Right.
And so in a weird way, all of this kind of helps Pitt. So the people in our area might be watching this and, you know, hopeful about it. We do have someone who called in about Penn State. I was at that WVU Penn State game. I actually ran into you at that game.
Yes. That was minutes before I got the heck out of there because it started to look like a scene from Twister.
Oh, my gosh.
It was
It was unreal. Did you wait out the full 2 hours?
No, I did not. I waited out. No. As soon as I saw that warning and after the Penn State touchdown before the end of the first half, I said, I'm good. I've seen all I need to see. And I got home in time to watch the rest of the game. I didn't miss anything.
Well, hey.
Because of the weather delay.
Yeah, there you go. And so, speaking of Penn State, let's go to Daryl in Latrobe. Daryl, what's going on?
Hello. Yeah, I
Daryl.
wanted to see your opinion. Penn State, how they're going to be. You know, are they going to be one of the 12 teams in the playoffs?
I mean, obviously, it's very early to tell right now. I mean, going into Morgantown, WVU obviously not ranked. But as Coach Franklin did say in the postgame, WVU is one of those teams that is kind of underranked, he said. So to be able to go into an environment like that in Morgantown and put up 20 points in the first half alone before all the weather mess, it was kind of a statement. They are definitely ranked in the top 10. I can see, them putting together a very, very solid case for being one of those 12 teams. I think it's going to be very interesting at the end of the day to see who ends up in it. But Pony, where do you think Penn State is going to fall in this 12-team playoff?
Yeah, well, James Franklin has one Big Ten title in his entire tenure at Penn State. He's going in, this is his 11th season now. And they have been very good, but they have rarely been great outside of that 1 year with Saquon Barkley that I'm talking about. And an expanded playoff, you would think Penn State would be a great beneficiary of that. They also have an easier schedule because they didn't draw Michigan this year. And James Franklin's had a difficult time beating Michigan and Ohio State. He's 0-6 against those two teams the last 3 years. But my opinion, he is 13-25 there against the top 25. I just do not trust the guy in big games. We saw USC beat LSU last night. They've got to go to USC. They play Ohio State. If they lose those two games, then you've got to win your other 9 to give yourself a chance to get in. And I'm just not convinced that Penn State is going to do that. So I would not pick them to go to the college football playoff. They defensively did a very good job on West Virginia, but at the same time, West Virginia shot itself in the foot with a lot of dumb plays, fumbles, penalties, questionable play calling. So my opinion, I thought that was more about West Virginia offensively getting in its own way than it was about a great Penn State defensive effort.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think there was back-to-back drives where Garrett Green fumbled the snap. I don't fully know what happened there, but, he got sacked for a loss of 10 yards or whatever it was. And I'm pretty sure that was like the opening drive and then the one right after that. So the offense definitely needs to figure some things out. I think Penn State, too, if they are able to get into this 12-team playoff, they're going to draw a lower seed. So at the end of the day, they're going to have a very tough matchup in that first round. So, I mean, like you said, they struggle in big games. So it'll be very interesting to see if they make the 12-team playoff and what that is going to look like. I do want to transition, though, to the pros, talk about the Steelers. We have their first regular season game on Sunday. I know everybody here in Pittsburgh is very excited to see this team in action in real time. I know the preseason, obviously they lost all 3 games, but we didn't really see the full product, Arthur Smith's full product out there on the field, all the starters all out there at once. So I think a lot of people are waiting in anticipation to watch Sunday's game. And Atlanta's favored, so they are going in as the underdog in this one. And it'll be very interesting to see what they can do on Sunday.
Well, they've got the highest paid defense in the NFL, and you just showed the captains. You've got T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, and Cam's got something to prove this year because he doesn't have a new contract. And T.J. Watt's talked repeatedly this offseason about how he thinks this team is close. That's why he put a sales pitch on Russell Wilson. T.J. Watt, everything great he's done, he's never been a part of a playoff win going back to 2017. So that is my way of saying the defense for the Steelers is the best unit in this game on Sunday. And as the offense tries to work out the kinks with Wilson making his first start, a new play caller, a very young offensive line, terrible depth at wide receiver, the defense should, and it probably needs to win the Steelers this game. And frankly, I don't think that that's asking too much of them. It's Kirk Cousins' first game coming off an Achilles injury. They've got a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator there too, in a defense that was not good last year. So, yeah, I look for the Steelers to go there, and they better put forth a very good defensive performance because that unit brought back just about everybody and got reinforcements with Patrick Queen and Elliott at safety and Jackson with the Deontay Johnson trade. So they better show up and put together a great game on Sunday in Atlanta.
Yes, most definitely. I agree with you there. Well, stick around, guys. We are going to head to break, but we have much more to talk about right after this, and we'll see you in a sec. Well, welcome back, guys. We are going to take a quick check in with the newsroom and see what's coming up at 11 o'clock with Josh Taylor. Josh, what's going on?
Cassidy, here's what we're working on tonight. President Biden and Vice President Harris spend the holiday campaigning in Pittsburgh, plus 3 Pennsylvanians ordered to pay up in a legal dispute over voting machines, and local businesses plead for help after getting hit by vandals. All coming up in just a few minutes. See you at 11.
All right, Josh, thank you so much. I do want to go back to talking about the Steelers for a minute. There's something, we just talked about the defense. One thing that I think is very concerning, Pony, is this offensive line. I mean, they've already suffered so many injuries. There's so much youth on this line right now, not a whole lot of experience. You have center Zach Frazier, rookie. Spencer Anderson is now going to be playing left guard with Samalu out. It's just a lot of injuries, it seems, and a lot of youth on this offensive line. Can they step up to the task? Can they protect Russell Wilson on Sunday?
I think you're going to have to game plan around it. So if they do, I think it's going to have a lot to do with the play calling from Arthur Smith. And he's also got to coach into Russell Wilson's head to get rid of the ball faster, because there's a reason why Russell Wilson's been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL ever, actually. He's probably going to set the record and become the most sacked quarterback of all time. He has a tendency to hang on to the ball too long. And it's going to be really, I think, it's going to take all hands on deck, given how many spots have been switched around here from where they expected they would be at the beginning of training camp. Spencer Anderson is supposed to be a backup. Broderick Jones is supposed to be the left tackle. Trey Fautanu is supposed to be the right tackle. Okay, so we'll see what happens with Fautanu. I know he practiced some today, but I still find it hard to believe he's going to begin the year in the starting lineup. They got to get Dan Moore out of there. Dan Moore's been one of the worst left tackles in football. And that's why they've drafted Broderick Jones and Fautanu in back-to-back drafts to replace him. And yet here we are on the precipice of him starting another important game. So, yeah, it's a work in progress, and that's why I believe the defense has to go to Atlanta and win this game for the Steelers.
Yeah, it's been a sort of like musical chairs going on in the trenches on the offensive side for sure.
Right.
It is exciting, though. Jaylen Warren is back. He says that he's expecting to play Sunday. It was a grade 1 hamstring injury. We didn't see him play in Detroit. He exited the game against the Bills in that second preseason game, but he will be playing on Sunday. So hopefully, he gets a lot of touches and he doesn't re-injure that injury, because again, this is the start of the season. It's the season opener, and it would just be tragic if he pushed himself too far. So it'll be very interesting to watch Jaylen Warren out there on Sunday. But Pony, any last minute thoughts on this Steelers offense or Jaylen?
Well, I'm a big Jaylen Warren guy. I always have been. And I believe he's a better running back than Najee Harris. He does, I think, everything better. I think he's a better pass protector. I think he catches the ball out of the backfield better. I think he's more explosive. And the stats say he breaks tackles better. So if he's healthy, I'd like to see him get more than 50% of the carries. I'm guessing it'll be more Najee, but I'm always going to back Jaylen Warren.
Yeah. I think he was just so exciting these past couple years, and it'll be awesome to watch him this upcoming season. Well, Pony, thank you so much for joining me tonight. An exciting night here in Pittsburgh with that Buccos win, and looking forward to that Steelers game. I'll see you guys next time.